a News Nation exclusive investigation into a secret government experiment that was carried out in St. Louis. Residents tell us they still remember a mysterious fog. Children would run through it. Mothers would try and close their windows against it. For decades, they all had questions, and now we're seeking answers. The United States Army now admits that it sprayed a chemical that contained cadmium, a known carcinogen, on a neighborhood of more than 10,000 people. Critics say this was done with no warning and no consent. Well, tonight we return to the site of that demolished neighborhood and speak with former residents who believe the government turned them into human test subjects. Although the Army admits that the test happened, it is not admitted to harming the residents. News Nation's Natasha Zuvez investigates what was in the fog and why the truth may still be buried.
The fog drifted through the streets like a ghost.
That's exactly what it looked like, a thick fog.
It was summertime and it was hot. We would just run through it as fast as we could and try to just cool ourselves off. It stuck to you.
The spray was so foul as far as the odor. It made some of us have headaches, nausea, dizziness.
That's what I remember. It made me sick.
It wasn't the weather. It was an eerie smoke descending from rooftops, rolling from the backs of trucks.
Regular flatbed truck, but it had a big machine on the back. And it had a big nozzle that really sprayed a fog you couldn't even see through. It was that thick. And it really, we felt it as it would adhere to our skin. And as far as the guys on top of the buildings, they tried to portray them to us as maintenance workers. But we was like, what is a maintenance worker doing? And basically a hazmat suit. And they had masks and goggles.
In the 1950s and 60s, in secret, the U.S. Army sprayed zinc cadmium sulfide into the air of a St. Louis housing project, a largely black neighborhood called Pruitt-Igoe.
It was a lose-lose situation for us in Pruitt-Igoe. We were subjects.
They didn't ask for our permission. We didn't ask for them to spray us. My government used me like I was a guinea pig.
We're standing at where Pruitt-Igoe used to be here in St. Louis, and it's hard to believe more than 10,000 people used to live here. As we bring our drone up, you can see it's mostly just an empty lot now, overgrown with trees. This used to be filled with 33 high-rise buildings. It was all demolished in 1976. And according to the National Research Council, St. Louis was chosen for spraying experiments because it had similar characteristics to Soviet targets like Moscow in terms of population density and terrain and proximity to a river. The government now admits to a secretive series of Cold War tests, including one dubbed large area coverage. More than 30 tests conducted across the U.S. and Canada, spraying zinc cadmium sulfide from planes, rooftops, and vehicles to simulate how a biological attack might spread, all to prepare for potential warfare against the Soviets.
Many of us been in the military and had top secret clearances. We know how it works.
We have died for America. We have fought for America.
Right, Shalom, giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, HaChodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and Shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. I'm the brother Kalab from the GMS UK London Forecasters Camp, coming back at you with another lesson to help edify those of which I spoke of. So as you can see, I was playing this news article and it's talking about a town in America, I believe it was St. Louis, where the US government had been spraying the people with a mysterious fog, which has caused them all kind of health conditions and cancers. But it was a test that was conducted on the people without their consent. Now this is interesting because when I first heard this news article, the first thing I thought about was a film that came out in the 1980s, I think, called The Fog. Let's see if I can bring it up here. Let's see. There's this film here. Yeah, The Fog, which was directed by a director called John Carpenter. And it came out in 1980. and it says, "Bolt your doors, lock your windows. There's something in the fog." It's a horror film, and basically it goes to show you that Esau puts the truth in plain sight, because this film came out in 1980, but these tests were done long before that. Now let's go back to this news article. Yeah. So Esau done this experiment on these Jakes because obviously he wants to take Jake out. So that's why he runs these tests on Israelites, because Esau's real hope is that he can destroy the nation of Israel off the face of the earth. So that's why Esau's using this, what do you call it? Chemical warfare on Jake, yeah? And you could hear they had the accounts of seeing men in hazmat suits posing as maintenance workers, but really they were spraying the fog into the community. Now, not only did they do that, but later on in this news report, I'm not going to play too much more because I don't want to get a copyright strike, but later on in this news report, they also said that they gave radioactive oatmeal to the children in that community. So a lot of the Jake children, Israelite children in that black community, were fed radioactive oatmeal, and again it caused them cancers, and a lot of them died. And they really targeted the impoverished, because they targeted orphans and people who didn't have much money, giving them this radioactive oatmeal, which ultimately led to their destruction. So this is why the scriptures say in Sirach 12:10. Let me get this on the screen. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humbleth himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled of him in his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. So, as I said, it's unfortunate, but these Jakes got experimented on. I want to go to the oatmeal part. This is
Part one of our News Nation investigation last night, we uncovered a mysterious fog that once drifted through a St. Louis neighborhood, one that residents still remember decades later.
It made some of us have headaches, nausea, dizziness.
They didn't ask for our permission. We didn't ask for them to spray us. My government used me like I was a guinea pig.
They're waiting us out.
They're waiting on all of us to die.
The government admits it sprayed a chemical that contained cadmium, a known carcinogen, critics say without warning and without consent. They sprayed it on a neighborhood of more than 10,000 people, but now years later, residents are getting sick, some with rare forms of cancer, and they're asking what else might be hidden from them. Specifically, what else could have been in that spray? News Nation's Natasha Zubas picks up the investigation from here.
We're on our way to meet with a researcher right now who has dedicated her career, decades, to declassifying documents and trying to figure out what exactly happened here in the city of St. Louis and what exactly was in that spray.
Tilapia advert.
eBay online shopping and selling.
It was in that spray. Across the country, the government conducted secret Cold War experiments in plain sight.
It was so secretive that we're really just now sort of digging out from underneath us to try to understand the scale of it.
And Dr. Lisa Martino-Taylor helped uncover many of them.
We know that they were giving radioactive cocktails to pregnant women. We know that they were feeding radioactive oatmeal to children in state schools. They've admitted to those things, and they won't release the material related to St. Louis.
It's true. American children in state-run institutions like the Fernald School were fed radioactive oatmeal as part of studies by MIT sponsored by the Atomic Energy Commission. You can see some of the documents Dr. Martino-Taylor worked to gather and declassify on MIT letterhead describing experiments on human subjects. The children, some of them orphans, were told they'd be joining a science club. They were promised a quart of milk a day, a trip to a baseball game, to the beach. A copy of the 1994 congressional hearing shows those children, now grown, describing being told the oatmeal was just vitamins and recalling the health problems that followed: lumps on my arms, my stomach. Pregnant women were also unknowingly given radioactive iron at top hospitals in Tennessee and California to study how radiation crossed the placenta, some later reporting miscarriages, illness, or birth defects. A class action lawsuit resulted in a settlement in the 90s. Do you believe the U.S. government sprayed some kind of radioactive material on the residents of St. Louis?
I believe that they did. There's so much contextual evidence that points that way, and I spent years looking at this.
She says her research reveals the men who designed and oversaw the St. Louis experiments were some of the top experts in radioactive weapons.
We know that the people who designed the study, who oversaw the study, these were all the radiological weapons experts who were looking at open-air radiological weapons.
One of them, Brigadier General William Creasy, was head of the Army Chemical Corps.
Right, so this dude here is one of the generals who was responsible for the tests on the people. And this goes to show you that how wicked these Edomites are. You know, you can never, as I read Sirach 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. These Edomites have not changed. You know, they hide behind the facade of being, you know, politically correct, but deep down inside, Esau still has this hatred in his heart towards Israel, and he wants to destroy them. Now let's get Psalm 64. This is Psalm 64, verse 1. Hear my voice, O Most High, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Most High, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. The righteous shall be glad in the Lord Yahweh, and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. So this is the secret counsel of the wicked. As I said, their purpose, their desire, their intent is to destroy Jake. So Esau's pulling out all the stops, going all out in his quest to destroy Jacob off the face of the earth so that he could keep his birthright. Well, I should say he could keep Jacob's birthright, because it wasn't Esau's birthright. He lost it, right? For the dominion and rulership of the earth. That's what this is all about. You know, there's a spiritual component to everything we see going on the face of the earth, right? And basically Esau is still hurt that he lost his birthright to Jacob, and he's seeking to gain it back. And one of the ways he tries to do that is by killing his brother Jacob. Esau's plan is to try and destroy all the seed of Israel, but he can't do it. It's not possible. But that doesn't mean he isn't going to try. So that's why he's doing all of these chemical warfare experiments on Jake communities. You know, sending out these carcinogenic fogs and feeding these children radioactive oatmeal. It's all to destroy Jake. Now, there's one I want to get. There's a precept I want to get. Hang on. This is Ezekiel 4 and verse 13. And the Lord Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Esau... So, what am I saying? Children of Esau. Forgive me. It's like a slip of the tongue. Ezekiel 4 and 13. And the Lord Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. So this is part of the curses, that we would have defiled bread, meaning bread that is, poisonous and toxic to us. But the Most High sustains us through all of this. You know, a lot of what we have to eat is, GMOs, genetically modified organisms. It's very hard to get natural food these days. And even if you do get the natural food, a lot of the nutrients have been drained out of them. So the potency of, the medicinal effects of the food we eat has greatly diminished. And that's all a result of Esau having dominion and rulership over the face of the earth. This is Job 9 and verse 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof, which is the Israelites. We're the true judges of the planet earth. If not, where and who is he? So it tells you clearly that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked being the Edomites. How do you prove that? Malachi 1 and 4. The burden of the word of the Lord Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord Yahweh. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord Yahweh? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord Yahweh have indignation forever. So Esau is the border of wickedness, and they are the people against whom Yahweh shall have indignation against forever. So we can never trust Esau, man. And it's a sad case that these Jakes, you can tell these are Jakes that believed in the system. They believed in the American dream. They believed that if they worked hard and, kept their heads down and towed the line, that they could make it in this Esau system. But Esau, once again, is showing himself to be the devil, revealing his horns and showing his hatred for you people by sending that carcinogenic fog upon you, and then feeding your children radioactive oatmeal. Those are not the actions of a friend. Those are the actions of an enemy. And Esau is our enemy. No matter how much you may think he's changed or he's cleaned up his act, be not deceived. There you go. Let's read this and I'll close out, right? Genesis 27:41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. And these words of Esau, her eldest son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. So, Esau had that purpose in his heart to destroy Jacob, and that purpose has never gone away. Let's get this. There we go. This is the one I want. I'll close on this scripture. This is Amos 1:11. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. So for as long as these Edomites are on the face of the earth, they're always going to have their wrath forever, so we can never trust them. So Lord willing, that was an edifying lesson for the Spirit. For those brothers who may want to learn more about this story, just type in YouTube, US experimented on humans with radioactive oatmeal and mystery fog, and you'll see the full video. It's about 15 minutes long, but it just goes to show you how wicked Esau is and how we can never trust our enemy. So with that, I want to give all praises and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hakodash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of great millstone that will well. And shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. And I'll catch you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom for now.